The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. So, Adam, I have a new feature I'd like to premiere today, and then it'll be a regular feature next year. Okay, because this is our last show that we're taping in 2024, and again, we were talking about this before we started taping. We're doing this on Christmas Eve. We're taping this on Christmas. I mean, that is going the extra mile for the listener, don't you think?
It's really the dedication that we want to have for making sure that the listeners are ready for this festive holiday period of lots of games.
Yes, and that's what this whole show is going to be about today. But here is the new feature. The new feature is I'm going to play the walk-out music of each team. And you can guess which one it is, and we'll kick off the show with it this week. This one is one of the 20 Premier League clubs. All right? Okay. Here we go.
As I walk these streets alone, through this borough I call home, upon the barren fields of ivory, neath the stadiums of stone, through the turnstiles at the Angel, see the homeless on the green, from the Cali to the Cross, and every shithole in between. Past the church, the mosque, a crack den, and the offie on the corner. See the brasses from the brothel that pretends to be a sauna. Watch the bedlam in the bookies, see the winners and the losers seeking solace from their sorrow in the local battle cruisers. Through the madness in the market, weathered faces turn to greet ya. Hello governor, as your mother? You're right son, be lucky geezer. Double pie and mash and liquor, a couple of rosy lee-up chap, or watch retired gangsters bicker every day in Arthur's calf.
Okay, any idea?
Wow.
I gotta tell you, I'd never heard this song before either, but the rankings, according to what I read today, this is the second most popular one. You can kind of tell that it's a London song, right?
Well, yeah, I'm guessing it's an East End London team, so I'm going to go with West Ham, but I thought there was more of the Bubbles, but maybe that was later.
Nope, it's not West Ham.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. No.
It's actually called, subtitled North London Forever.
Okay, so it has to be Arsenal or Tottenham.
Yes, it is. It's one of those two.
Probably Arsenal.
It is Arsenal. It's time for Free Kicks.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
The song, by the way, is called The Angel, North London Forever by Lewis Dunford. And if you watch the video on YouTube, which, go ahead and I recommend it, you'll see that it's all the scenes of North London right around the stadium and all the stuff going on. And it's got that, it's got my favorite phrase, which is, hello, governor, which means I love it. All right.
That was good.
So now we have our final Free Kicks of the season. We have a lot to cover. Let's get to it. Let's start with what's happening since we last spoke. Where the clubs stand going into this season. Let's start with the top of the table because I like how it looks right now. We got a team called Liverpool at the top of the table, playing great, lead the league in clean sheets, which means their defense is good. They feature the only player in the Premier League history to have more than 10 goals and 10 assists before Christmas, and that is Mo Salah. By the way, he leads the league in both categories.
Yeah.
Now, it helps when teams like Tottenham play defense the way they did this past week.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it was unbelievable gaming. To be fair, Tottenham was involved in a couple of crazy games this week.
They were.
Especially in the League Cup as well, which they ended up winning 4-3 after being up 3-0. I thought it was going to be another collapse there for a while. And then this Liverpool game where it was just, they were just sliced through and Defensively was a mess. It was really tough, and to concede 6 goals is never a good thing at home.
No, it is not. Do you think Ange is in trouble?
I think yes and no. I think he seems to be on that situation very similar to what Ten Hag was, where he's able to escape with a victory every other game, it seems like.
Right.
And I think it's also with the way he plays, he's just not going to change. So it's really going to have to be a situation where the club comes out and says, we're done with this. We can't handle this anymore. And again, talking to the Tottenham fans, they're probably a little bit at odds because they are actually winning some games occasionally. So that's probably a good thing for them.
They are fun to watch.
But then they're getting thumped. Yeah. So in some games,
other than that,
So it's not good for the hearts of Tottenham fans. So I feel bad for him. But I would say he's definitely on what we would call the hot seat. I would say.
Okay. Well, another team's playing a lot better. That's Arsenal. But they, we're talking about Tottenham. That they have injury problems mounting.
Oh, yeah.
Arsenal also has injury problems, and they had suffered a big loss this week. Saka, and it looks like a pretty bad injury. Now they're saying it's not as bad as they originally thought, but he's still going to be out 5 or 6 weeks. That's a huge loss for them.
Yeah, I think what's going to end up happening now, because of that loss, they're going to probably end up, I would think, have to look at trying to buy somebody in the January window, which will be coming up soon. So, yeah, that's a tough one. It's like losing not only goals, because he scores goals, but he also creates goals. That's the biggest thing. So I think definitely going to be a tough loss. They're going to have to figure out what they want to do, whether or not they go in. I've heard them talking about Atalanta, Matteo Retegu, who's a player that they've talked about. So there's possible options, but
they have Sterling on the bench, but Sterling is also injured, and they're saying he may be out for the rest of the season.
Oh wow, I didn't hear that. So that's I haven't seen much of him, to be fair.
Right. So I mean, he was their insurance policy already, and so the insurance policy is not working out. All right, so that's where Arsenal stands. Manchester City, lost again. Last 12 games, 1 win, 2 draws, 9 defeats, 11 goals scored, 27 conceded. Now you're talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say he should be fired. The manager, what's he done?
Now they're going to try to get players during the window, during the transfer window, but the problem is they've got this sword hanging over that entire program because of the possible sanctions, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So who wants to go there, even with Pep as the coach or the manager? You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, that's a good point. I mean, because what's going to end up happening is players want to play. The top players want to play in the situation. They want to play in the Premier League, but they also want to play in the Champions League. And there's probably a good chance if Man City, if any sanctions come down, they're probably not going to be able to play in the Champions League because they'll be down a different league,
right? Whatever
it may be. So, like you mentioned, top players are not going to want to go there, at least right away. So, they're going to have a hard time. They've got to deal with what they've got. They may become a mid-table team for a little while. We'll see.
Might. I think Liverpool would take Holland off their hands just to free up some money, just to help.
Certainly, I think most teams would take. It'd be okay.
Well, let's talk about the other side of Manchester United. Again, Marcus Rashford left out. It looks like he's gone, right? I mean, he wants to leave the club.
Yeah, it's a really tough situation because probably not a smart move on his part in terms of my opinion. He came out and said some things about how he might be ready for a new, for a change, for something new, which is probably not the best thing. He could have just sat on where he's at, because the biggest thing is he's on basically another 3-year contract where he's making over £300,000 a week.
Yeah.
So he's on a very good contract. So even if teams want to buy him for a small amount of money, they have to pay him that contract. They have to pay out that much money. And that's, I think, the biggest issue. Teams are not going to want to pay that amount of money.
You know, he's kind of a shocking story, really, if you think about it. Because, I mean, it was just a few years ago that they were like building statues to him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he was a Manchester boy, right? I mean, he came from Manchester. Yeah. He's very good in the community. He gives back. He, feeds the homeless. He's got all this going for him. And yet he seems like he's a major head case on the pitch somehow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think everything off the field, he's done fantastically. He's created a little bit of a foundation around him. He's been very good about doing those things. And then I think it seems like, as you mentioned, on the field, there's just been some issues. Things are not clicking for him. Things are not working out. Obviously, the change in manager doesn't seem like that's helped too much. And now he can't get even into the squad.
Yeah.
So, I would look for probably a January move there, probably fairly soon. But again, who's going to pick up that large amount of money? It could be similar to some of the players that Chelsea have, or maybe some of the other teams where they're just kind of sitting and waiting for somebody to pop up.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Jadon Sancho situation just a couple of years ago. Or was that even last year?
That's right.
It all happened so fast.
Yeah.
And so anyway, Manchester United, for the first time in Premier League history, they are in the bottom half of the table on Christmas. Never happened before.
13th spot.
Yeah. And as we head into the festive fixtures, the top 8 are Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, 4th place.
Amazing.
Aston Villa is 5th. Bournemouth is 6th. Manchester City's dropped all the way to 7th, and then there's Newcastle. So, not many people predicted that top 8 at the beginning of the season.
Definitely not.
All right, with that in mind, Adam is going to take us through what is coming up in the next few weeks, because this is the time of year where, if you really want to, you can be watching Premier League soccer virtually every day.
Right. Oh, my goodness. What a festivus of games we have. And just trying to decipher everything is going to be probably the biggest challenge. So for those of you who subscribe to some type of a calendar service, this is definitely something that you're going to need to use, because basically every games are going to be starting on Boxing Day. So we'll be together watching the games on Boxing Day, eating our bacon sandwiches. You can drink as much of my coffee as possible, maybe even having a little pie later at halftime of the Chelsea game.
Will there be brown sauce?
There's plenty of brown sauce.
Okay,
we are
that's the important
fully
thing.
loaded. We're good to go. So everything English is going to be here. Even sausage rolls. My wife makes some fantastic sausage rolls.
Great.
So what we've got Thursday. So Boxing Day is the traditional day where all the teams are playing, although some teams are actually moved it to the next day. You've got a couple of good games there. We'll be sitting watching all of them. Starts at 6:30 in the morning. I'm sure I might be the only one watching that one with my bacon sandwich, but Man City versus Everton will be a good one to start off.
Yeah.
Everton, obviously.
Won't be there for that one.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure you will. And then the big one, we'll be sitting around watching it, and I know you'll be excited to watch it. Chelsea versus Fulham, a little bit of a derby, West London derby. Gotta love that. And then also that same time.
What time is that? That's at 9
That's
o'clock.
At 9 a.m.
Okay.
I think you can handle that one.
Yeah.
You can handle 9, right?
Yep, we can do that.
Okay, 9 a.m. And then also at that same time, you've got Newcastle United and Aston Villa. So that should be a good start there. And then we finish off with your boys, Liverpool, at 2 o'clock versus Leicester City. Then you've got games on the Friday, the 27th. Then, interesting, I know we chatted about this before. We're not sure. There must be a reason. But no games on Saturday, December 28th.
Yeah.
But we've got a full schedule on the Sunday, the 29th. A couple of games to highlight. Fulham versus Bournemouth. 2 teams playing fantastically well. Bournemouth just beat Manchester United 3-0 at Old Trafford.
I know.
I mean, something's going on there. That's really, really well. And then I think a good one on that Sunday would be West Ham versus Liverpool. I think that would be a good game. It's always a lot of goals in there. And then Monday,
Liverpool plays the 26th and then again the 28th or the 29th.
29th, yeah.
So
three days
apart.
Yeah, which is normal. So, yeah, and like you said, Jurgen can't complain about this anymore. Right. So that's what right. They probably said, let's screw these Liverpool guys and we'll give them an egg quota. Give them only 3 days in between.
Yeah.
So then on the 30th, you've got Ipswich against Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, which would be a good one as well. And then we turn over to the January 2025 fixtures.
Yeah.
So although this is an interesting one too, because there's actually only one game on the 1st of January. So again, typically that's always been a lot of games. But I think also there might be I can understand the reasoning for that. And I know that there's been a big push within not necessarily the Premier League, but the Football Association to have people go to kind of minor league games. So I guess you could say the grassroots, so the non-league games. So that would be a good opportunity for the Slough Towns and the Maidenhead Uniteds and the Aldershots and all of those types of teams. You know, maybe those lower leagues like the Wrexhams that are in there, although they get big crowds anyway. Yeah. So all those types of teams. So for those people who are living in England, instead of going to watch just their Premier League team, now it's an opportunity to go watch another team. So there's just the one game on that day, and that's Brentford-Arsenal, which would actually be a pretty good one.
Yeah. Would that be considered a derby?
Not really. No, because
okay.
North London versus West London, so no, probably not. It's a London derby, I guess you could say, but that's very general.
Yeah.
And then we kind of finish up. So Saturday the 4th, 5th, and 6th should be really good games as well. The highlight for me is on Sunday the 5th, Liverpool Man United. It's going to be a good one, especially dependent on where everything is. It seems like Man United always plays well against Liverpool.
They do.
So maybe they might pull them back a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But my goodness, you've got enough games to keep you happy for the next, all the way up until the kids are back in school. And for some of you, you may have to go back to work, which would be a bummer.
That would be a bummer. But all right. So that's very exciting. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, official state association, and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, U.S. Soccer Federation Olympic Development Program, and also the U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org. And as a little side note to that, we're excited. So January 2nd, heading out with 13 teams from Illinois Youth Soccer, our ODP program. We're heading out to Mesa, Arizona, playing a little tournament against the Far West ODP teams.
Okay.
So we're excited. Yeah, we're excited to be there for 4 days.
Yeah, in January. That's going to be rough.
It's going to be tough. Although I kept on telling the parents, we did a little training session this past weekend, getting prepared. I said, it's not as warm as you think. So last year it was quite chilly. It gets down into the 30s, 40s in the evening.
Oh,
I think we might.
How are you going? You'll be all right.
I'm going to be okay. So, but it gets chilly. So be ready for that. But
in the evening, though, right? I mean, not during the day.
During the evening, it should be nice 65 during the day.
Wah. Oh my God!
Hey, got to do what you got to do.
It's my job, honey. What am I supposed to do?
Exactly right.
All right, so we won't be doing a show then until the following week.
Yes.
So, all right. So it's a good thing we're previewing all these games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. It's time for your favorite feature.
Mm-hmm. Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay, this week's Premier League star has been around. All right, he's 30 years old.
Ooh.
And has played in 270 matches with his current club. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I watched this team that he was not on the pitch.
Okay, interesting.
And before he got to this club, he had been around. All right, so he he played for. I think his first team was Sunderland.
Okay.
So we're going way back now. But he was loaned out by them and played in places like Darlington. All right, I'm going to pronounce a couple here that you can mock me again. Is it Alfreton Town? Alfreton Town, something like that.
That's a brand new place you just invented.
Okay,
so well done.
Okay, good. Well, he was great on that team. Poof. In fact, on your grassroots day, maybe you should go out and watch them play. He was also with Burton Albion.
Burton Albion, yes. Uh-huh.
Carlisle United.
Mm-hmm.
Bradford City.
Wow, he's played a lot.
And Preston North End. Any idea?
I have no idea. No
good.
idea.
I thought I was afraid that gave it away.
No.
He plays for his national team.
Okay.
And that team has had a couple of good finishes lately. They were a Final Four finish in the 2018 World Cup. And they were a 2020 runner-up in the 2024 Euros.
Okay. All right.
Any idea what club that is?
I'm trying to. Well, that was the country. You mean?
Yeah, the country.
The national.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that. Well, I mean, if they were, he's not. Is he playing on the English national team?
Oh, he is.
Wow, he's 30 years old. And would you say his club team's kind of struggling, kind of near the bottom-ish?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. But they seem to always survive. Would that be fair to say?
That would be fair to say, yes.
And does he stand in goal a lot?
What do you mean, in goal?
Does he play in goal is what I'm saying.
Let me put it to you this way. He has 73 caps for his national team and has scored 0 goals.
Okay. So, yeah.
And, if you stay at his house and go to his spare bedroom, you never have to be worried about dirty sheets because he has 7 clean sheets.
Well, there you go. So that's good. So it has to be. And he's been, to be fair, I think he's had a really good season so far.
He has. I've watched him the last couple of games. He is a key player on that team. He's one of the reasons that they survive.
No question. And, it is our favorite goalkeeper, the England national team goalkeeper, Mr. Jordan Pickford. Yes, absolutely.
How about that 7 clean sheets this year? And 5 of those games were 0-0 draws.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Including this past weekend against Chelsea.
Yeah, he was again a little bit of the difference. To be fair, he, the whole team set up very well and made it very difficult. But he made some big saves, and at times when needed to. So I'll give him a lot of credit. But Jordan Pickford is definitely been the heartbeat of that team, no question.
I always considered him to be, this is unfair maybe, but, not one of the greater goaltenders because of his size. He's not your prototypical, 6'8" guy that's in the, like, Allison or
right.
Aston Villa's keeper, what's his name? Martinez? No.
Yeah. Emi Martinez.
Yes, Martinez. Those big guys that cover the goal. He's not one of them. And he's got kind of a punchable face, if we're going to be honest. He's one of those guys that constantly has a scowl on his face and is yelling at his teammates. But that is what a goaltender needs to be, right? He needs to be vocal.
Yeah.
And any team that has ever had a goaltender that is not vocal, you realize what a big problem that is.
Yeah. and we're going to have to change your vernacular too. They're not goaltenders. It's not hockey, Rick.
Oh, sorry.
They're
goalkeepers. He
keepers.
keeps the goal. But you said he
Absolutely.
stands in goal.
Well, yeah, that's what he does. He does a lot
He
of standing
stands in
the
goal. He keeps it. He keeps the goal.
He
doesn't
the goal
tend
there.
it. He's
He
got
does-
no responsibilities for keeping the net intact or make sure that the crossbar is fine. He doesn't tend it.
Well,
He keeps it.
that's- Exactly. He
It's
keeps
in his
the goal.
house.
Well, he's got clean sheets, so you're good to go.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing. But you're right in terms of what he is and who he is. He has been, and if you were picking a starting 11 right now from the Premier League, he would be my starting goalkeeper. He's been the best keeper this season.
I have to agree with you.
Let's just, of course you will. I mean, there you go. Let's just keep on playing that on a loop. I have to agree with you, Adam. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, don't get used to it. But he's also good with his feet, right? He's one of those keepers
he's fantastic.
that can do it all.
Yeah.
But boy, that face. I mean,
he does have a scowl. He's just got a goalkeeper's type of anger. I mean, he gets frustrated with the people in front of him. He definitely beats to a different tune, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you got to have that person in the back that's going to kind of continue to push people forward, and he does a super job with it. So, yeah, good for him.
yeah. He might also be upset that he plays for a secondary Liverpool team.
I don't know about that. Yeah. Well, they're going to have a new stadium next year, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
that's true. And they have gone this whole season without getting point deductions, which is,
Yes.
you
It's a start.
got to tip your cap. All right, we're not going to do Adam's TV tip this week because we went through all the games.
Exactly. We went through a whole bunch of them. Yeah, you're right.
But, we do need to tell you that Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. Green White has been part of the Chicago community since 1956, co-founded by 18 young Germans, one of which was my father, and is still out there doing soccer for all age groups, going all the way back to 5 years old and all the way up till over 50. So if you have a child or you want to play soccer, check out greenwhitesoccer.org. All right. Well, we have people to thank for all the soccer broadcasting that we've brought you this year. Let's thank our executive producer, Tony Lasana with Opie Shows. Also, Ed Silla, the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. Just moved to a better place, which is radiomisfits.com. And Adam and I are going to take a few weeks off. Of course, he's going to Arizona. So is he really taking a few weeks off? Because he's working, right, honey?
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, that's right.
He'll be working in Arizona. But we'll be back in 2025 with a brand new episode. Do you remember what the name of the show is?
Free Kicks.
That's right. I'm looking for the closing theme. Oh, here it is.
The preceding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?